slope as always. When I start on YouTube, I always get worried that I've messed it up somehow. But we have got a full house today, and we are joined by Ewan, Craig, and Liam. Craig, I'll come to you. You tend to be of the same mantra of Hibs are good, Harry's good. Hibs were not quite good at the weekend.
Oh, shocking, mate. I'm doing poorly after that. The phone got put on mute. All the chats were on mute, and I just ignored my phone for the entirety of Saturday and most of Sunday as well, to be honest.
Aye, and just so everybody look at Liam's face quickly, Ewan, I had a great time at the NFL at the weekend, and I thought that was magic that we had the game in London. I know I've got you a ticket and for you and your lovely lady at the weekend. Did that brighten you up a bit, NFL?
Oh, well, yeah, no, I didn't actually see the London game this weekend, because we were out and about. We were actually at a fucking wedding fair at our venue, so that was fun. But no, I'm very much looking forward to next Sunday. It'll be a nice way to spend the international break. So it'll be good to fly down to London and back in the day.
And Liam, I believe I've successfully annoyed you, and I don't think we're even 2 minutes in yet. So how are you getting on?
Aye, if we can just ensure that is the last mention of Gridiron on tonight's podcast, I'd be very, very grateful for that. Thank you. Oh, fuck's sake, man. It's bad enough that I joined the call, you are fucking chatting about it. And now that we're live, you are chatting about it.
But
You genuinely should just start your own sister podcast where you just chat shit about it all the time.
no, we've got our own personal chat for that. But Liam, overall, not great vibes after Saturday. Is it fair to say?
No, no, not great vibes. And it is one of them. And it's, the old Jack Ross quote, the fine margins kind of comes out, doesn't it? Because actually the performance in the first half was quite good. And I think for the majority, of us, I think we were pretty happy with how things went. It was just we were missing the goal. And then, games turn on little moments. The Chris Cadden chance, which is a great chance. Probably is that just after half time, I think,
Yeah,
Ian? I'm looking at
yeah,
you for your
sure.
usual sort of being right on that sort of shit. And the Triantis red card, which was, the momentum I think had sort of swung to Motherwell already at that point. But I think the Triantis red card probably is ultimately what's cost us at the very least a point from the game, which is really disappointing. So not great vibes, and unlike Craig, I wasn't kind enough to myself to mute stuff on Saturday and Sunday. I just let it just wash all over me on Saturday, Sunday, and didn't get to enjoy my Saturday night.
Hey, well, that's not ideal, but Hibs have where there's a Hibs, there's a way, and the way isn't always great. But just to say, I know that the result was very far from acceptable, and I know the performance for the most part was pretty terrible. But Ewan, first half, it wasn't awful.
No, absolutely. We were decent in the first half. Like don't like we weren't. It wasn't scintillating stuff, but created chances, and we were definitely the better side. Like that's not uh, up for debate. I don't think. The Motherwell manager said as much on Sports Sound after the game when I heard that driving up the road. Said he felt they were sort of just clinging in there. But no, I thought in the first half we were decent, Harry. I don't know if it was one of them that you were that good that you felt like, oh, we definitely should have been ahead going into the break. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you were sitting there like I don't think it was totally unjust that it was 0-0. But had we been ahead, it certainly would have been a fair reflection on the half. We were good in the first half.
Hey, and guys, I'm going to see if we can keep positive vibes from before we go into the negativity of the day. But Craig, was there any players that you thought turned out a good performance, or at least a not terrible performance?
I thought Con was quite decent for the most part. Obviously, he had a bit of a shocker on one of the
Uh,
goals, but
you got a -3 for that alone, to be honest. But aye,
but if we're talking even just the first half, I thought he was quite good again, putting on a few tackles that I liked. Uh, no, but to be honest, it's difficult to be positive. Like we can play as well as we want, but when you do that, you're setting yourself up for failure defending the way we did.
and Liam, of the nature of goals that we concede, it just seems to be so repetitive, and it seems that we're coming back to the same things. Last year and the year before, it was all about crosses. This year, it's about individual mistakes. Like, is it something to do with the coaching? Is it something to do with mentality? Like, how is there always a consistent issue, it feels like, with the way that we actually concede goals every season?
Um, I think the one thing that's true across the last 3 seasons, maybe the nature of the type of goals we conceded has changed slightly. I'm not convinced it has, to be honest. I think if you look at the data, I think it would tell you actually the goals that we concede are all fairly similar from season to season. I think what I would say about this season in particular has been individual mistakes, yes, but just very cheap goals to concede. Like we concede goals when they're ultimately quite often against the run of play. We concede goals under very little pressure and literally just a fleeting moment in games. I think it's true of the Dundee game, certainly true of the Kilmarnock game, and very true of the game at the weekend. Albeit, I think Motherwell's second goal did come during probably a spell of pressure, but I think that was, you can explain some of that way being down to 10 men. It's just very cheap. We don't make teams work particularly hard to score goals. And then I look at us at the other end, and we are exerting a lot of energy and putting a lot of time into not scoring very many goals. That eventually is going to give you a bit of a problem in that you're not scoring enough goals because you're not, when you get into the good positions, you're not taking your chances and you're conceding very cheap goals. I think based on the start of the season, I think we didn't on Saturday, by the way, I think we'll out XG a lot of teams this season and lose. That looks to me the kind of team we are. We will play well, we will create the chances, we won't score the goals, but we'll concede cheap ones at the other end. That's the kind of team we are at the moment.
Can I just say, I think I saw a slight smile from Craig, 'cause I think he might have been in the same wavelength with Liam saying, we'll out XG teams is the least Liam thing I think I've ever heard in my entire life. Yeah, and Craig, kind of touching on what Liam said there, a lot of the comments that we've got in is about the style of play when we go forward. It's seems to be quite slow. Like we seem to be trying to get the ball up fast, but as soon as we get to the final third, the players just seem to stall and not really know what to do. Do you think it's kind of teething problems because obviously quite a few new players in there, or what's the like recurring theme of why we can't actually break teams down when we're getting a lot of the ball?
I think we look short on ideas, to be honest. I just think we look short on ideas when we get the ball up there. I don't know if it's necessarily slow. I just think it's we get the ball there and we go, I don't know what to do now. I'd like to have seen more runs from midfield as well. I thought that's in the early parts of the season has been one of the things that's really made us look better when we're going forward is midfielders getting involved in the attack. And I thought the two that we had on the park, Giannis and Kwon, for the most part, were probably just a bit too deep. I think they could have come up and helped out a wee bit more. But yeah, teething problems. I think that's a bit of a cheap out. I don't think that really applies. We're well into the season now. I know maybe Hoylett has just come in, but ironically, Hoylett, the one probably that's spent the least time in the team, has been the best in the last couple of games. So yeah, I don't think that really applies, to be honest.
Aye. And you, the same question to yourself. Is there anything particular going forward you think that could be a quick fix?
Aye, stop playing a right back at right wing. like, I know yourself and Craig were fairly happy before the game to see, a consistency in selection. I don't Liam commented on it like when we
I
were
wasn't
talking
happy
about it,
for
but
record.
I said
Yeah,
it. I
no.
said like I just felt like you. And it's maybe I don't know if this will be the first time I'm sort of criticising the manager this season. Like, so in the summer he said, he'll be flexible and we'll try and adapt to sort of game to game and all that. And it just felt to me that he's seen a good performance at Ibrox and felt that he owed day players another 90 minutes. And but I just don't understand how it translates from you're setting a team up. It's not like we went to Ibrox. We were good in spells of the game, especially like that sort of 35-minute through 70-minute mark. But we didn't step onto Rangers in the first half at Ibrox. You know what I mean? We grew into the game. It wasn't like we went there and really had a go at them. We were solid for the most part. And to then pick the same 11 and expect them to flip that switch entirely against Motherwell, who were, especially in the first half, quite deep in their half, quite happy. They did try to play out as well, but to not much great effect. We done that side of the game quite well in the first half. We got the ball back quite easily a lot of the time. The defenders done well in the first half, and like we made them go long. We mopped it up, and then we built again. But you've got Chris Cadden, who for when he signed, you would have thought he was a right wing. I think but over his spell here, he has adapted his game to become a right back. I think you then see, with the chance that he obviously doesn't score in the second half, he the confidence probably isn't there for him as well in the final third just now. I don't think Hoylett has played well, but isn't lightning quick. So and then Josh Campbell's playing as a 10 now against someone that's sitting in. I don't know that that'll be Campbell's best game because he's not creative. He is more arrive in the box, score a goal sort of thing. So I don't think a team that's already packing the box is a game where he's going to thrive in that position. So I just think the personnel Harry was wrong for in the final third for a game that it was going to be. You know, it was fairly obvious. Motherwell play three at the back with Stephen O'Donnell as a wing back. You know, like it's pretty solid. You know, they didn't threaten much at all, and I just thought the personnel was wrong, and we're just lacking a bit of spark and a little bit of pace, I think, in the players behind Kukarevich.
Just to jump in, do you not think the selection would have been right had we scored in the first half? Because obviously we did have a few really decent chances, and we did play well in the first half. And if we score, maybe, I know it's if, buts, and maybes, but it's maybe a different day at that point.
I get what you're saying, but at the same time, it's not like we weren't battering chances at them. You know, we weren't missing loads and loads and loads. It wasn't a kick in the arse off the first. It was slightly better than the first half against St Johnstone. It certainly wasn't the second half against St Johnstone, though, if you know what I mean, in terms of volume and missed chances. Off the top of my head, I think, you know, Kwon had a good shot from the edge of the box that was well saved, and then really again, I could be totally wrong, but the only one that springs to my head is that sort of double save for the goalkeeper or from Miko, because I'm still refusing to say his surname because I don't know.
Can I come in on the right hand side issue? Because that was probably where my major issue lay with the team. I think it's fine to go and play that against away at Ibrox against Rangers when you're ultimately going to spend a lot of time with the ball. But I think at home it's a really negative team selection, to be honest with the manager. I think he's got it wrong, and I hope he learns it. Because I think the Cadden chance is really the sort of summarising point of the game, if you like. You score that, it's a very different game, and ultimately he's just not the guy you want in that position. I think he's got maybe 2 or 3 goals for Hibs, but I don't know if you remember the early spells under Jack Ross or Maloney. It felt like he had a chance almost every week, and he wouldn't finish them. He's not a goal scorer.
He had a chance in the first half as well. Now I think about it, where the ball sort of broke to him, Liam, as well in the box, and he just latched at it.
And I think my issue is not with Chris Cadden. Like, you all know that I'm a pretty big Chris Cadden fan. My issue is not Chris Cadden. I think my issue is just playing those two players down the right hand side. I'll be honest, I think Lewis Miller's form has been deserving of being dropped, to be honest, and I think Cadden should play it right back. I think Miller's almost the bigger issue in some respects. The amount of times he's been caught in possession in the last couple of games is just absolutely an abomination. But the one thing I wanted to touch on, just in terms of that quality piece, and I hate doing this on the podcast, but I needed to go and back up the eye test with some stats. So I did look at some stats today. Lewis Miller, successful dribbles, 1 out of 4, 25%. Accurate long balls, 1 out of 4, 25%. Aerial duels won 2 out of 7, 29%. For a guy at 6 out of 4 inches tall, that's hopeless. Ground duels won 5 out of 10, 5%. So not getting a great deal from him in a defensive sense or an attacking sense. But Chris Cadden, to demonstrate the point around lack of quality, successful dribbles, 0 of 1, 0%. Accurate crosses, 0 from 5, 0%. Ground duels won 1 of 4, 25%. Aerial duels won 0 of 1. So you're talking about a guy, who he's been asked to play further up the park, to do what he does and be a good player out of possession. But when we get the ball against teams like Motherwell, we have to have that wee bit of quality. Someone has to come in on the right wing there and play, who's an attack-minded player. And Cad needs to drop back into right back, and Lewis Miller needs some time out of the team,
Absolutely.
to be frank.
Well, and I don't know if he was dropped. I think was it after the last international break. No, he was on the bench, so I would assume he was dropped, or maybe it was a convenient excuse he was coming back from Australia. But Lewis Miller didn't. I think the only game he's not started this season, we won in the league. I know that's not. I'm not highlighting and blaming everything on him, but it's an odd one to me. And do you know what? He's just a very, he's a very confusing football player. He's physically strong. He's fairly quick. He should be very, very capable, but he's just so confusing to me. Like as I said it in the ground,
He goes down so easily for a big guy.
I was about to say I don't think he's confusing. I think he's incredibly straightforward, and I think that's what his issue is. I think that as soon as he's I think the reason
but just
he was such a
decision making.
first,
I mean, it's
but I mean for the other team's perspective, I think he does the same thing every time, and I think that us lumping the ball to him as an out ball and him consistently not winning it, as Liam says, is massive. Like, look at what Sean Rooney used to do at St Johnstone. Like, there's no reason that Miller shouldn't be that for us.
He's
Like,
bigger
he's
than
a
Sean
big,
Rooney.
aye, exactly. Like, he's a big physical guy, and there's no reason he shouldn't be the guy making like deep runs at the back
Mhm.
post to actually help the team going forward.
Which he'd done it a
But
bit last season, didn't
yeah,
he? Was when did he score at Dundee? Is it? And then
correct, yeah.
did he score?
And then like on Cadden as well. Like, I love Chris Cadden and I love his work rate, but he's not the player that you need in the box to have that chance. Like, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
And obviously we need to kind of touch on it. Personally, I don't mind starting Triantis and Kwon. Obviously, ideally, we probably would have told Kwon to go a bit further up the field than he was at Ibrox, and it felt he was deeper, if anything. Um, but that midfield three again just doesn't look like it's going to click against teams outside of Celtic and Rangers.
I've got to be honest, Harry. I thought, and this isn't just this.
Yeah.
Actually, I said it to Graham at the game. I thought Chantis was struggling throughout the game. I really didn't think he was having a good game at all. He looked a lot more like Chantis that we seen last season. And like, these things happen. Players have off games, absolutely. And but you get booked for a dive, and I've seen people say it is a dive. Like, he gets a little nudge in
It's
the
a
back.
dive, aye.
It is a dive. He has an opportunity to shoot it. He's very right-footed, and he's still done some good things in the game. Like, I'm not. He's still, but in general, I thought he was poor. The ball was just always loose from him. Like, do you know how like sometimes he does take that heavier touch, but he nicks it away. It just felt like everything was bouncing off him in the game. I just thought he had a really poor game, and then obviously culminated in the red card. Like, and I've got to be honest. I know Craig said I thought Quan wasn't that much better. Really, again, maybe he was okay in the first half, but really, really quiet in the second half, and just when they are the heartbeat of your team and the way we've set up since Kilmarnock, the midfield have to do it. We are more rudimentary, if you like, in the final third now. And if that middle of the park isn't ticking, and I just didn't think that the two of them had their best game in there. And then there's been a lot of criticism of Josh Campbell that I'm sure we'll come on to with the talking points as well. It wasn't a good balance in there at the weekend, and they just really struggled. But I thought Chantes in particular had a pretty poor game against a team that in the split he fucking dominated against, didn't he?
Is that a character for Triantis, to be honest? Right for the start, me and Mikey were saying he looked unsettled on the ball every time he got it. Like, he's normally quite calm.
Mhm.
I'm saying normally so far this season, the games that he's played, he's been very calm on the ball, and in that pocket, he looks very assured, and like it looks like he gives you confidence that he's got it under control. Whereas at the weekend, like, I mean, right for the word go, like, he looked
Mhm.
jaded. Like, he didn't look in control of himself. And we were highlighting concern early doors about Triantis, and it just got worse and worse and worse, and then, like you say, obviously ended up how it ended.
Mhm.
Right. And we're going to have to talk about him because we're a Hibs podcast and you can't really avoid the subject at the moment. I want to bring balance by. I have no doubt that at some point, I think he probably drops out the team for the next couple of weeks at least, and maybe comes off the bench a couple of times. I reckon maybe mid-December, early January, I think Campbell will have a string of 3 or 4 games in which we're like, why don't we start this boy every week? And then after the 5th or 6th game, we'll have people in our support saying that he's the worst player in the league again. I think Campbell is one of the most inconsistent players that we've had. And I don't know why, because I think Campbell on his day can be a good player and can positively impact the team. But in the system that we've got at the moment, that role of the 10 needs to be the focal point. That needs to be the position that sets up the chances that we're not setting up. It needs to be the player that will connect the midfield to the wings and actually get Big Mick involved in the game. And Josh Campbell doesn't currently look capable of doing that to a high enough level that we can actually score goals and create chances. So for me, I think Rudy's a better option. I know everybody says that Levitt's not done it. As I've said, I just want to see Levitt put in the team and given an opportunity to play where he's not in a midfield two against Celtic. It seems to be the only time we ever put him in is in shit situations. Everybody's like, oh, Levitt's been given a chance. Levitt had one blinding game against Luzerne that he tried his heart out, and he's just not got the legs to do that week on, week out. I know I keep banging on about Levitt every week, but until he gets his game time and he proves me wrong by playing terribly that everybody seems to be expecting of him, I'm going to keep on banging the drum for Levitt. I think he's not been given a fair shake, and in my opinion, it's ridiculous that Josh Campbell gets played over him, and I don't understand that pecking order. There's other things that will come on about decision-wise that I don't understand from the game from Mr. Gray. But first, Campbell, I'll open the floor to you. Anybody want to jump in?
I don't really want to go into it too much because I think
Yeah.
I think he's had too much already, to be
Yeah.
honest. And I thought some of the stuff I saw over the weekend was bang out of order. Having said that, obviously, the first goal he's entirely culpable for that first goal in terms of giving away the free kick, not matching the run. In some phases of play, particularly in the sort of first half and the second half, simple passes just not going to feet or not going in front of a runner. One particular one when we were on the break where he just had such an easy pass just to lay it in front of Miko and he just completely mishit the pass. I think there's a bit of jitters there. I think there's a bit of nervousness because I think most professional footballers can make that pass. I think he probably feels the weight of expectation, the support a wee bit more than some of the players. Having said that, I think the evidence is beginning to show us, he gets in the team for what he does off the ball rather than on the ball. I think the evidence is beginning to show us I don't think he's got the quality to start week in, week out for Hibs. I think he's a good option to have around, come off the bench, but this is a fairly sustained period of evidence now that I don't think he's a necessarily the kind of guy you're going to hang your hat on week in, week out, but he can absolutely come into the squad and do a job. I'm not sure about Levitt, to be honest, is the response. I mean, I like Levitt a lot, but I don't see Dylan Levitt as a 10 in this team with the way we set up. I don't see in what world that would work.
Can I just throw out, sorry, just on the Levitt point, I don't think any 10 in this team works. I just think there's a massive, I still think the midfield's a massive problem. I just think there's a massive disconnect as soon as we get in the final third. I don't think we've got any players that are creative consistently enough. And Levitt's the only player that I think that every time he's on the pitch, even though it doesn't always go well for him, I think he just tries to make the passes, even if it's put Kwon forward, put Levitt deeper then. I just think you need to have someone that will actually be brave and try and move the ball into dangerous areas, which I don't think we have, apart from maybe Hoylett. Sorry, Ewan, you come in. I just wanted to throw that out there.
No, I don't see it, Harry. I really don't. Dylan Levitt's, I don't want to sound like he got dropped by a Dundee United team that got relegated, like in the middle of the season because they deemed him, not appropriate for what they needed or not good enough or whatever. And I don't know. I think we've seen enough. I think he's technically a good football player, but for being a technically good football player, he gives the ball away a fucking load. And I'm not even talking about when he's trying to split defenses open. He gives the ball away on simple stuff as well. Like I don't know. Ultimately, I don't know. He could play that role well. You can't be 100% certain on it either way because it's not really something we've seen. But there's surely also got to be a reason that the Dundee. I think he played a little bit more advanced when he was on loan at Dundee United, but when he was there permanently, I think they had two managers that season. They didn't see him in that role. Last season, Lee Johnson didn't see him in that role at the start of the season. Nick Montgomery didn't see him in that role at the start of the season. Now David Gray doesn't see him in that role. There's obviously something that he's lacking to do that. But as for Campbell, look, he was poor, and I think confidence is a big thing. He spoke in the summer about trying to maybe take up that role of sort of Stevenson and Hanlon in terms of being at the club for a long time, being local, being a Hibs fan.
Being the punch bag.
That's what I was going to say, but he seems to have taken on that side of it as well. To be fair, he's always got it, and I know I was quite bold in my predictions for what he would do this season, and that is coming off the back of. So I don't think I've ever been his biggest fan. I think I've probably potentially even been one of his biggest critics of certainly of us for it. I know Craig is quite a big fan of Harry. I know your dad's a big fan, whereas I've never really seen it. But I thought he was going to kick on this year, and on the evidence so far, it doesn't seem like he's going to.
That's meant on the evidence so far. When's he had a chance?
Josh Campbell.
Oh, I thought you said Levitt.
No,
I thought we were still
listen.
on Levitt. Oh, right. I thought we were on the Levitt call. I was like, what the fuck?
I was like,
what a chance. I know,
No.
fair enough. I know, you're spot on with Campbell. As I say, I'm never wrong just early, and I said the exact stuff that we've just said on Campbell at the start of the season, so genius, man. Anyway, Craig, not heard from you for a bit. McKirdy coming on, how raging were you on a scale of 1 to 10, and how stupid a decision did that feel at the time?
I wasn't raging. I wasn't raging. Nah, I wasn't
That
losing. I
was.
was just I thought actually the best moment of the game was him getting smacked in the balls and trying to crab walk back onto the park. That was brilliant.
Oh God.
But I just want to say there's not a circumstance in professional football where Harry McKirdy should be getting off a bench before Ellie does. That's what I've got to say on that.
LU's been absolutely stinking. So
So is Harry McKirdy. Ellie had two poor. He's had about 70 minutes of poor football on the back of an injury that meant he missed a fair chunk of the pre-season programme. Harry McKirdy's been shite for 2 years.
Liam, I saw that you tweeted about David
Ah,
Gray, and
it was just another opportunity for people to attack Ellie Yuan. I didn't realise I was going to open the door to that when I said it, to be honest. I just want to get a couple of things straight on this before we can. And look, I don't really, again, in much in the way that I wanted to avoid it with Josh Campbell, it probably still went down that avenue anyway. Don't really want to bash Harry McKirdy too much, but he's not good enough to beat Hibs. And I think we've seen that evidence over the last 2 years. There's not a single performance that he's put in where I go, that gives me hope or evidence that he's good enough to play for this football club. So let's just not focus on Harry McKirdy because I don't think it's worth it.
Mhm.
But I think what I'm seeing for the Hibs support, to be honest, is ultimately it's just confirmation bias. People obviously heard what they saw in the summer. They've seen two poor performances, and then they've decided because they've seen a couple of poor performances, that means he wants to go. Maybe he does. Maybe he does want to go, but it doesn't mean he's not trying, right? And I think you raise is an important point there. He's been out injured. He's come back off no pre-season, come in 2 games, very difficult at Ibrox. Was woeful against St Johnstone. We all said it, but he needs a chance. The evidence shows us over the last 2 years he's been written off by this support on more than one occasion. The evidence shows us he's a very good football player. People need to stick with him. People need to show him some love. And to be honest, we need him. If that chance that fell to Chris Cadden falls to Elliot, it's just a different game on Saturday.
See by the same turn, and like obviously we've missed Ellie and he's then in the minutes he has played, he's not played well. We're missing Kieran Bowie who had scored a couple of goals, and we're missing Martin Boyle. Martin Boyle's getting a lot of criticism from some of us as well. And before he got injured, we're a better team with Martin Boyle in the team. We're a bigger threat. I think we're a bigger threat if Ellie plays, and we're probably a bigger threat if Kieran Bowie plays. So look, there is. I would actually say that that's your first. If you looked at our squad, that's potentially Bow through the middle, Boyle on the right, and Yuan on the left. That's probably your first choice front three. If I was to be totally honest, I would imagine that's what we'd expect, and we've not had a single opportunity, not to be, even had a chance to see them all on the pitch at the same time. I don't think. Never mind even have them in. I don't even know if they've been in a squad together. I think Bowie got injured before Yuan was fit, so it just. But look, there is circumstances to the final third stuff as well. But we should be doing better, Harry. Could we maybe just have a wee chat about the defence? Would you like Craig and Liam? Like I came away for the game at the weekend thinking that we I said it like lacked desire maybe, especially on like it was the throw-ins coming in the box. I felt like we never won the first contact. But see in general play, because the defence got a lot of criticism, I still didn't feel like Motherwell cut us open. I didn't think they had many chances. It was for the throw-ins into the box, which is what it said to me was we are solid enough, but it's just like go and get your head on the first ball. That's what was screaming out to me.
I was actually going to come back to that when Harry asked me at the start who I thought played well, and I kind of forgot about it. But I actually thought EP233 was good again. Every game I'm getting a wee bit more confident in him. I thought he made a lot of important blocks, and overall I thought he defended very well. And I don't think really he was involved at all in either of the two goals. I think for the throw in he was further forward. It was maybe a Hora that missed the header, and then obviously Kwon losing his man. But from open play, we're defending okay. We make stupid fucking errors like every match, and it seems like it's been that way for the last couple of years that we have such poor lapses in concentration, and like we said earlier, the goals that we're losing, man, they're just so bad, like defensively. But it's not just on the defense; it's on how the whole team defends.
Yeah, well, everyone will say the defence was shite, but if you look at the two goals in isolation, it's two centre midfielders.
Yeah,
sorry. There you go.
No, carry on.
Oh, I was just going to throw it to people, just because I'm angry at the club. Triantis, fucking grow up. See the dive. That's just all right. Stupid mistake. All right, you've had your stupid mistake. You've got that out of your system. Good job. Well done, you. What's he thinking? He's nowhere near it. He's literally never getting there. And if you're on a yellow card, they're always going to give you a second yellow for that. Grow up. Also, biggest pet peeve. I know it's a cliche, so it's not always necessarily true. The ball can't go in at the near post. That first one, keeper should
No,
be.
come on.
No.
I've seen.
It's
I knew.
abysmal
Do you know what,
goalkeeping.
Harry? I knew you were going to say this on this
Have you seen
podcast, right? Because
Asma
he always
Begic's
talks about
clip?
near post goalkeepers. Have you watched it back?
It's abysmal goalkeeping.
There's no way in this world that any goalkeeper is saving that
'cause
unless
he's
he
out of
stands on
position.
the near post and literally puts his hands up. It goes in right in the top left, absolutely blasted. There's no way he's saving that. No way.
It goes
The
through
near
him.
post thing
It
is an
goes
absolute
through
myth.
him.
If I
Honestly,
knew Harry was going to pipe up about it.
I've literally, I've out of us four, I've been by far Bursic's biggest defender. I've been the most confident in
It just goes for
Um,
some reason you've got an agenda against the fucking backup, even though you've never
Oh
even
mate,
seen him.
didn't get me
You'd
started
take
on
him
him.
into the ground.
That Arbroath games, or whoever we got beat off, that will stick with me
Kelly
to the rest. Kelly, that team as well. Scott Allen played for both of them. Anyway, pish. That was pish. He's not pish, but that was pish, in my humble opinion.
Liam, did you bring it up? Did you bring that up after the game? Was it you?
I was raging at it. Like,
I'm not sure.
I wouldn't say it's a clanger, but I think he should do better.
I think I said it on here that I cut Louis go. He always goes so low.
it does.
He goes so what? Like he goes so low. Like I don't look. I don't think it's.
I can't believe this.
I do lean more
It's
towards
an
what
absolute
Craig's
dream
saying.
for centre forward one-on-ones. Like, absolute dream.
I know, but if they kick it high and near the corner, then it's fine because Craig will give him a pass anyway.
Hey, that's
Craig
an
was-
absolute thunder cunt of a shot.
Craig
did
was
make
defending
a-
after Dundee and all, didn't he?
He did make a very good save, actually. I
Goalkeeper
thought that went
genius.
unnoticed, where he managed to just wipe the ball off the boy's feet. Was that the second half?
Yeah, then they missed open goal after that.
I thought he made a very good save there, to give him credit. But it's not so much the near post thing for me. I think we saw it a lot with Matt Macy. We just go too early and just essentially invite the centre forward to put the ball in a certain area. I genuinely think a good goalkeeper probably makes that save. I think the Motherwell goalkeeper on Saturday was very, very good. I find it really astonishing that he was on the bench for Motherwell all last season. When he's that good, and we seem to just burn through keepers like there's no tomorrow. And we
Liam
can't
Kelly
sign
was
anyone
shite last year. I know.
So we've got enough problems. I don't think Bursic is the issue. I think we've got enough other problems.
I
Yeah,
tried to
I'll
put it there
give
'cause
him
it's-
some credit, by the way, in the first half. And to be fair, I don't know if this was something Motherwell did change with their set pieces. He came for quite a lot of crosses and he was actually having a decent game. I thought, I thought he was okay. You know, like no amazing, but I'm not quite sure that I totally think he should be doing better. And it never looks good when something goes into your near post. But there was a clip of Asmir Begovic talking about it during the week. Did you see that? Like, Begovic was on some podcast, I think, for Sky Sports or something, talking about it and basically saying, you know, a goalkeeper's job is basically make it as difficult for a striker as possible. And if you get beat by the speed of a shot, then ultimately it's no any easier for you if it's at your near post, far post, whatever. So I think it's interesting. It might be worth. It might give you. I would say, and it's not about a minute long.
Aye, thanks guys for listening to Down the Slope.
Aye, fuck off and find that.
Begovic's podcast ASAP. That's where you'll get your actual insight.
While we're talking about Bursic, can I just tell you one thing they done that really fucking annoyed me? It put us under quite a lot of pressure. Early in the second half, he lets that ball run across the front of him and then kicks it straight out of the park. And then we were immediately under pressure for that.
Kettlebell
People
highlighted
not
that
remember
after
it
the game.
because it's such a small thing in the game, but you just there's just no need as a goalkeeper to let it run across the front of you. Zach Robinson shuts him down. He then has to take it on the angle. He hits it, goes straight out of the park over the top of Miller, and before you know it, Motherwell have got us back under the cosh again after we just got out from a wee spell of pressure. It's
He likes it going to
it's
his
just
weak
not
foot as
smart.
well.
It's not
It's
smart.
on his right foot.
Goalkeepers need to be use their brains as well. Like, they need to understand the game state and play to the game state, not letting the ball run across you and putting us under pressure.
I agree
fucking annoyed
actually
me.
with that one, to be honest. I thought that
entirely.
kind of changed the tone of the game, to be fair, at that point. That was right after the start of the second half.
Yes.
And I thought, because it kind of, I said to Mikey at the game, it looked like it unsettled Ekpiteta a wee bit as well, right after it, because then he kind of
Aye.
dallied on the ball.
Uh-huh.
And I thought that's just put him, because he hadn't done anything like that in a couple of weeks, and I thought that might have just put a wee bit of the jitters into him as well.
That specific instance was a fucking hospital pass that he got. I know. It unsettled the whole team, and it unsettled the crowd. And see, for 5 minutes they all shat themselves. Nobody wanted the ball for 5 minutes, and then weirdly enough, the next time we actually put our foot on the ball, that led to Caden's chance, because Caden's chance was just after it. But Liam's spot on. The Motherwell manager highlighted it after, like, the first time he came on Sports Sound and said was basically like, you can always try to be honest. We were probably lucky to still be in the game at half time. And then we just put a wee bit of pressure on the goalkeeper. He put out the ball, and it felt like that lifted us. And I like that's exactly what Campbell said after the game, Harry.
Aye. So my mini throwaway comment ended up being, Barsic kicked the ball to play and cost. I'm joking. Yeah, he does seem to be able to get himself booed on a week to week basis. Like there's at least one kick in which the crowd will jeer and boo
I
him
didn't
from a
get
Hibs
booed.
perspective.
It was just like a
Fans
fuck.
would boo and jeer anything, Harry.
I know that's very true. That's very true. But we've been pretty bad for being boo boys. It's pretty easy to understand given that we got beat 2-1 at home. However, as you can see in the shiny little title we've got, let's stop talking about how pish we are and let's start talking about how David Gray can improve it. I've seen a collective mix of people saying we need to get two up front, and then I've seen people say back to that didn't work under Montgomery. I've seen people say let's play three at the back, and I've seen other people say that's a bit stupid. Craig, the floor is yours. You're David Gray going into the next. Who's Dundee United away? What formation or what setup do you think
I
we should be looking
honestly
at?
don't care what formation we play.
Okay,
I
ignore the
genuinely don't
formation,
care.
but what tweaks can we make to the
I just
current
want us to
team?
be more front foot. I just want us to be more front foot, faster, more quality in the final third, which I'm not asking for much, but just be
good.
more front foot and go out and try and win the game rather than try not to lose it. That's all I've got to say. Just go and actually try and play football.
I think I said in the summer, and we were talking about what do we think a David Gray team is going to be, and I think we sort of all agreed we maybe thought it'd be quite like up and at them in teams'
Like
faces and
Brexit.
that. And but one thing I did think I thought we would try and play a lot more of the game, in the other team's half. Try maybe have a bit of a high line and try and press teams high up the park. And I don't think we can do that. And this isn't a criticism. Centre halves are slow as fuck. See, even when we're on the ball, the centre halves are so deep. They've obviously been like O'Hara got caught out with a ball in behind against Dundee, and like I don't think that's helping. I really like even when we're on the ball, they're sort of sitting 30, 35 yards for our goal as opposed to being right up. It in turn means that another team can sort of count on us quite quickly because obviously there's quite a lot of space then in between the midfielders and the defenders. But I think that does have a knock-on impact, obviously, in the final third. But we need to get our best players on the pitch. Like it's that straightforward. If Ellie Yuan's fit, I would get him in the team and just try and just whether he's just just try and get the best out of him. Nurture, do whatever you need to do to him to get him firing, and we will move up the table. If Martin Boyle's fit, get him straight back in the team. Do you maybe start Dwight Gale, maybe, see what he can do in an hour as opposed to half an hour. Like, just freshen it up a little bit, try and just create chances. And I would just love to see us just try and play more football in the other team's half. Just keep, just territory wise, just have them penned in a little bit. But I do have my concerns just that we're a bit cautious that the centre halves are just no got that pace. So if we do go that step up, one ball in behind and like a striker with any sort of pace can get in behind us and cause us problems. So that would be a concern. But just try and play loads of the game in their half would be the first thing I would say.
I'd agree with you, Anne. Starting, I'd want him to play. I know I said he was stinking earlier, but that was just Devil's advocate. But no, I would play him. I agree. He's our best player on his day, and he's only going to get on his day as if he gets minutes. So get minutes in him. Let's play him. He's got that bit of something in the final third that we need at the moment. We're no either creating chances or scoring goals with moments of magic even now. So start him, and also we need to start scoring more set pieces. We showed signs at the start of the season, because like it or loathe it, obviously we've seen at the weekend. If a throw-in counts as a set piece, we've conceded 2 set piece goals. They're massive. Like we need to be better than in
Did
both
we ever
boxes.
settle on that? I think Harry was talking about that. I think we're me and Liam quite anti throw-ins being set pieces.
I'm very pro. I think if it's the ball's not
it's-
moving in play, I think it's a set piece.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm sure we were debating that a couple of weeks
I
ago.
don't think I was anti it. I don't think I'd have a view, to be honest.
Liam,
Yeah, that sounds very realistically, Liam. That it was a stupid debate to have in the first place. Yeah,
Liam,
I
who
agree.
would you?
It's like when you still about formations and I just zone out for 20 minutes.
Liam, obviously, like we're talking about Campbell maybe needing to come out of the team, and obviously Chianti's going to be suspended. So what do you think the makeup of the midfield might look like at Tandis?
Newell will come in for Triantis, and to be honest, I think that could be very costly for Triantis. I think he might struggle to get back in the team if Newell has a good game. I think they'll find a way to get. I think David Gray's ultimately going to be forced to try and find a way to get Martin Boyle in the team. I think he also might try and find a way to get Ellie Yuan in the team as well. I mean, I think the prospect of a front four of Boyle, Yuan, Hoylett, and Kukarevich to me is much more exciting than the four that played at the weekend. You would maybe say, does it give you enough defensively? Because Yuan and Hoylett probably not going to do a great job of tracking back, and maybe even seen Martin Boyle's ability to track back be more limited recent weeks. Maybe it's going too far the other way. I don't know. Maybe you just need to tweak it rather than go sort of wholesale changes.
Of the three, who do you think would play the most central? That sort of
Hoylett. I think Hoylett would
Yeah.
have to play in the 10. I think Hoylett can probably play in the 10. I'm not
his
sure.
control's good enough, for sure.
I'm not sure he would give you what Campbell or even maybe Molotnikov would give you out of possession, but I think on the ball, I think he's shown he'd be good enough to sort of thread that pass through. I've been really impressed with him. I know it's obviously classic, like it's only just a few games in and stuff, but I think you can see the calmness that he brings to the team as well when he's on the ball. He's obviously a smart acquisition for a year. I think the difficulty is though the short termism. We're now having people saying he's now our best player. He's going to be 35 come the end of the season. He's only here on a 1 year deal. I'm sorry to say it, but it's another one where into next season his production will need replaced. In the same way that Melida's production from the second part of last season needs replaced and hasn't been replaced. So, playing him ultimately all these minutes is going to give you a problem in the longer term.
Just while we're there, if Yuan has a good season, you would expect he'll be away by this time next year with his contract situation. Boyle's out of contract, so they are but obviously Bowie is the big one in terms of the injury and stuff. Kukarevich is on load. We very much need to focus on the now, but oh dear.
All right, boys, I've got it. David Gray, if you want to cook, listen up, my friend. I've got some tips for you. Remember, this is short term. This isn't saying they're never going to play for it. But Lewis Miller, welcome to the bench. Josh Campbell, welcome to the bench. Kuharevich, welcome to the bench. Hoylett, meet Ellie Yuan. I don't care how, but you two are going to connect on the pitch. I think those two are by far the flair players in the team, and if we can get a way in which they can interlink in this similar to the way that Maulida and Yuan done last year, I think that's the way we get Yuan back to form. Big Mix got an easy ride from us for some reason. I like the boy. I think that he will come good at some point this season, but he has stunk the gaff out the last 3 games and he needs out the team. I don't care if it's Gale, I don't care if it's playing Jordan Smith or whatever the backup keeper's name is up front. I don't want him to start the next game because he's not done anything to impact the team. Whether that's the team around him not getting him the ball, I don't care. He's not doing anything. There's no point playing him. Craig, Liam, you both wanted to jump in.
I was just going to say about partner.
It would need to be a 3-5-2, wouldn't it, Craig? And I don't know.
Up step, Jack.
4-1-2-1-2.
We saw 4-4-2 far too many times last season. I think the problem, just really quickly, and I'll let Craig say something more intelligent after I've finished. Mikola Kukarevich is not the guy who should be playing 38 games as your number 9 in the league, because he does not have the goal scoring record of a guy who is going to score you enough goals to do that. He's a 1 in 6, maybe at best 1 in 7 striker. He will not get double figures this season in the league, despite what some people might think. There is no way. I'd be surprised if he gets past 7 or 8 goals this season in the league.
Right.
He's not a volume goal scorer. He involves himself in the play. He does a lot of really good unselfish work, but he will not score enough goals for us to finish in the top 6 this season. It's just as simple as that. So you need to have someone else who's going to score a volume of goals, which is greater than he will. And one of the ways of doing that, I think, is potentially by playing Dwight Gale, who, to be honest, I've got reservations about that signing based on the little bits that we've seen of him. It's early days, like reservations, but he looks slow, looks pretty cumbersome. And and that's a bit of a worry coming off an injury-bound season. They have to find a way of either Karavic only being involved in the box, in which I don't think he's really that kind of guy. He doesn't look like a penalty box merchant, or getting another really attack-minded player in the team who's going to score goals, a la Mizian Melida last season from the left-hand side of midfield.
Yeah, I said to you boys in the group chat, and maybe it was one step too far, and I did mean all competitions, but I'm not convinced they would outscore Dylan Venti's total for last season. I think I was 8. I don't think he scores enough half chances. By the way, I think that his head on the first half's up there with just as culpable as Chris Cadden's miss in the second half.
It's not the header for me, it's the rebound. It's the rebound's worse.
Aye, to be fair, at the ground, I didn't really know how it had stayed out, and then I seen Sports Scene afterwards, and I was like, oh, he actually had another shot. I thought it was just like a bit of a scramble and it went past the post. But no, I really think the header's not great. The keeper's in fucking no man's land. He sort of glances it. He just needs to get a more firm header on it. It's in the front post. But even you go back to the St Johnstone game. That's a game he maybe could have walked away with 2 or 3 goals. He had a couple of chances in the second half. I remember when he blazed over the bar and he's sort of done a lot of good work cut inside. And I'm not sure he scores enough of the chances that you go, it's not a total sitter, but he scored and I mean, you've seen that in his first spell as well. Scored some great goals, but if Kevin Nisbet was fit, Kevin Nisbet played.
Mind when Christian Deutsch, and then he randomly scored about 82 goals in 5 games. That's what we need, man. That was the good old days. But Craig, is there any conversation to say that potentially the help for the striker is also part of the issue? Because for me, I still think that Venti, based off the highlight reel we had coming in and the kind of form he had at the start and the way that he scored certain goals and even that he's scored so far this season, I think there's definitely a player there that we massively failed to get anything out of. It might be a bit of him not having the right motivation or not fitting well in the team, but is it anything to do with Hibs just not getting the strength out of these players?
Yeah, there's a bit to do it, of course. I think he's on the flip side that Venti did miss a lot of sitters even at the start of this season as well. Like that he can't miss that out, and it's not just the other players in the team. But Miko, I wouldn't say is getting an abundance of easy chances that he's missing. The one at the weekend, is it easy? He's running on to. He's not really looking at it. I don't know. I actually was going to highlight it earlier and say that
he's got to know where the keeper is.
I think he made the keeper look good. I think he made the keeper look better than it actually was. If he just glances it, or
the rebound, he should score.
Glances it either way. If he glances it into the far post more, or gets a firmer head, and like you say, it goes in. I'd like to see. I don't know. I don't care what formation we go, but 2 up top, play 2 of them, just see how they partner together and supplied by Yuan and Hoylett. I mean, surely they're going to make some chances. They're going to beat a man down the line and flash it across the box, and that's where you'd expect Gale to be. So why not?
We've got 2 strikers.
I know, and we can't risk another one getting injured. The 2 injury-prone strikers.
Do you find that, Jay? That's an interesting point. Do you think that does enter? David Gray, it's just managers' faults. If they've only got 2 strikers, they go.
It has to. Dwight Gale only managed 6 games because of injury in the second half last season in a league where you play twice a week. So it has to be a factor.
Campbell.
You got Kukurevich, Josh Campbell, false 9. Karavic, who was certainly during his period with us was injured, I think, as often as he was fit. So it has to be a factor in the thinking. You got Bowie out long term injured. I'm kind of against playing 3-5-2 because I think you get the best out of Yuan and Hoylett and potentially Boyle with a 4 at the back system. But I don't know an awful lot about formations. I don't really know. I don't really understand to be honest, the benefit of going, because every team in this league, let's be honest, every team in this league plays 3 in midfield.
Yeah.
So
and most are playing 3 at the back now, or 5 at the back.
4-4-2 is just not an option.
Yeah, I entirely agree. It's 3-5-2 or 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3, whatever. I'm not 100% sure what the difference between a 4-3-3 and a 4-2-3-1 is, but I like 3-5-2. Mind under Johnson. After he lost the first game or 2, he played 3. We went away unbeaten run. It was 3-5-2 with Yuan and Boyle down the middle, and we were just getting the ball in behind teams and just fucking running it. I mean, we played it against Rangers in the 2-2 game, but I don't know. My general opinion on lineups and formation is just find a way to get all your best players in the team. Just get all your best players in the team. I know Harry was really critical of Lee Johnson, be like, he just put the best players on the pitch and hoped that they sang. Well, that's what they did the fucking team for. You know what I mean? Like let's get
Trouble
them.
is, I don't think he knows who his best players are at the moment.
No.
I just don't think he's got many players that are good enough or like have cohesion between them to like
Aye.
realistically. I think the main problem is for some reason after like I know we are in that mix of the like Aberdeen, Hearts, Hibs. That's after Celtic and Rangers. That's your three biggest teams in the country by far. So realistically, our minimum goal and money spent, etc., should be fifth. After we finished third during the pandemic, anything under third has now become unacceptable. Even though we finished third maybe like 3 times in my life.
Let's
Um,
not share the
I'm not saying
stats
that's
that I sent.
I know. But like generally, like, and the thing is, even that season, remember, everybody was on like not everybody, but loads of people were on Jack Ross sacked at the end of that year. Hibs fans will never be happy. It's just kind of the way we are. But
I disagree with that. I think people would have been pretty honestly if we looked like we're on course for a solid 4th or 5th place finish this season. I think people would be happy with that this season. I genuinely do. I know. I think under the circumstances, new manager, reset, all the sort of context that the club have provided. I think if we felt like we're on course for 4th, 5th this season, I think people would be happy with that. I think the fact of the matter is, you look at the league at the moment, we're in early October, and I think there's probably 7 or 8 teams you could argue look better than us at the moment.
yeah,
I don't know if I'm just a little bit too happy clapper still. I still think we'll scrape top 6.
I just don't think that we're good enough in any like managerially. Like obviously David Gray, first season in charge.
Watch your damn mouth.
I think it's a shocking time to have appointed him. I think the last 3 windows would have been a much better time to put him in the job than the current one. I think having him come in to a new setup and new recruitment window was a bit bizarre, especially when January's recruitment in terms of caliber was significantly better. I think the player-wise, I don't think we've got the squad that will help carry him through that. So like, there's no barometer in which I'm looking at the moment, because obviously we could go and beat Dundee United 3-0 and I'll shut up and I'll just feel slightly different. But yeah, for me, I just think it's just sad because I want to see Hibs as a top 6 team, and realistically, we're probably going to finish between 7th and 10th, and it's just a bit sad.
We won't
I think
finish
we're
below
6th at best.
I don't see how.
At the
Hibs will
moment,
not
anyway. Because everybody else is shite, Harry. It really doesn't take much to finish 6th in this league.
We're playing everybody else that's shite and we're not beating them. We beat St Johnstone and that's it.
Harry, I'm not being funny, mate. We've played 7 games. I know it's not an insignificant amount of games, right? I appreciate that. Last week we were speaking about how we've got a run of 8 or 9 games where we need to build momentum. We've played one of them. Let's not go over the fucking top here, right?
We've got 5 points in 7 games.
Aye,
How is it
mate, I
going
know.
over the top?
Hi,
Like,
we're three
I'm
points
not
off
saying
6
I'm
with a game
happy
in
about
hand. We're quality.
how am I being unrealistic? I
Right.
think I'm being entirely
The
fair.
league is full of shite. It is, and that's
And
no
we're
me
near the
saying,
bottom of the
aye.
shite,
So
as Liam
we're-
just said.
No, but Harry, calm the fuck down, right? The league isn't great. They were talking about on Sports Sound, and in general terms, I agree with them. I think outside the Celtic, and then obviously I'd still say Rangers are a little bit above, and Aberdeen are looking good. There's actually fuck all probably out between the rest of the teams. So yeah, Hibs could go on a fucking horror run and get fucking relegated. It's not going to happen, I don't think. But I think there's still
Are we
mere
not on a
chance.
horror
That's
run?
brave.
No,
Are we not on a horror run? It's
you know what I
5
mean?
points out of 21, not a horror run.
Harry, you know what I mean?
Difficult
I
games
mean,
ahead.
I mean, in like fucking January when you didn't go and win for 10 games and you end up going, is what I mean. It's early in the season with a team that's only been put together towards. Give it a fucking chance, man. You're missing Kieran Bowie, who's going to be back at Christmas time or January time. Martin Boyle's missed the last couple of games. Newell's missed the last couple of games. Like, just give it a wee bit fucking longer, mate. I ken it's no great. Like, losing these games is far from good. But Motherwell never came to Easter Road and fucking battered us at the weekend. You know what I mean? Like, I'm no sitting watching that going, Jesus Christ, we are in the absolute shit.
I would just like to take this opportunity to distance myself from Harry's comments. What I meant when I said 7 or 8 teams are better than us right now is I meant right now after 7 games. I'm not saying that that's how the league's going to pan out because 7 or 8 teams look better than you right now. I just think that I think the team, it's easier to list teams look poor on us. I think Dundee look poor on us. I think right now in the here and now, I think you'd have to say Hearts. I'm not saying that's how it'll pan out over the course of the season, but I think you'd have to say Hearts. I think St Johnstone and Ross County look poor on us. And I think everyone else, I think
Kelly
you'd
as
have to
well.
argue, look, I think Kelly will be fine. I think Kelly will be absolutely fine. I think Kelly look better than us, to be honest. I know the results haven't been great, but I think they show a bit of spirit. Which I think we're lacking, to be honest. Kelly will finish top 6 again this season.
I suppose they
Well,
won.
as
They
I
got a good
always
one at
say,
the weekend, I suppose. But okay,
on these types of things, I hope that in 3 weeks' time, or however many time, we've beat Dundee United, Hearts, and Ross County, and you can be like, Harry, you
but
panicked for
that
no
doesn't
reason.
mean we're then going to have a
I-
great season.
No, I know. But what
No,
I'm
I
saying
know.
is, realistically, at the moment, Tannadice, when Dundee United have had a pretty good start to the season, Hearts, where historically, as much as we hate to admit it, is a terrible fixture for us,
Aye.
and Ross County, where historically we're very hot or very cold away from home. Like, there's a chance that we get to 10 games into the season with 5 points. Like, that is a realistic
Oh,
You
probability.
should just
Aye,
go through the
Harry,
whole
there's a
fixture
chance that we
list and just
take
be like,
fucking
well, we're not
9
going to
and
win
all.
that one. We're not going to win that one. We're not going to win that one. I don't think we'll win
But
that
probability.
one.
So,
No, we'll not win that one.
it's
We'll
fine,
finish
guys.
the season on
It's
5
fine.
points.
We're going to finish in European football because we might. All right,
Harry,
fair.
see for how good Dundee United have been at home this season. This season, Ken, who they've beat at home. 1 win, St Johnstone, same as us.
Aye,
That's
but mate, they've won 3 or 4 games of
They've
them.
got 13
Let's
points,
not
we've
just
got 5.
isolate the home record.
They've
Like,
won. They've won 3, but
aye,
we're not playing. They're not playing Easter. We're playing them away.
yeah, I suppose.
We are now one of these teams that our season will consist of us trying to scrape into top 6 because we'll be on a shite run. Then we'll go on a run of a couple of games that we'll win. And then we'll go on another shite run. Then we'll win a couple of games. And coming into the season, we'll be in and around somewhere between 5th and 8th or 9th with like 5 or 6 points to play
Aye.
for to get into the top 6. That is the way our season's going to go.
Do you want my prediction, right? I'm going to say it right now. Hibs will not finish 6th or 7th. If we finish bottom 6, we'll end up 8th, 9th, or 10th. If we get in the top 6, we'll finish 5th or 4th. We will not finish 6th or 7th. We'll either go into the bottom, you know what I mean? Like, it'll go one of the, we'll either, like under Lee Johnson, like when we went in the split and we actually played all right and we should have finished fucking 4th. You know what I mean? Like, and like last year, we'll no finish 6th or 7th. That's my prediction right now. There's
a lot
10
could
other
change in a
positions we
couple of
might
weeks.
finish.
We need to show something like Liam said, a wee bit of the spirit that Kilmarnock and other teams have got. But we need to show that in the next few weeks and get some results on the board, or else it is going to be a long season again.
Talking about, did it get me started? I'm
I think we should cover some talking points because we're at 8 o'clock and we've not even touched on a talking point.
Oh dear. Right, I'll tell some of the boys in the YouTube chat. Right, so Kevin Maddox, he's maybe more thinking to your thoughts than maybe than now Harry. He references the Gordons presiding over decline, but 38 years supporting from Newcastle, and he's never really felt so negative. It was a long drive home on Saturday yet again. You're telling me it was a long drive back up to Clapmannanshire on Saturday and all. And then Remy Cool, he references Miller lacking energy. Remy Cool, sorry. He left Miller lacking energy, and also what am I reading here? Bursick looking very small, which I entirely agree on.
Well, the thing is, when it comes to Hibs being pish, we're obviously going to be reactionary in our own little way. Obviously, my toys are slightly further at the prams because, as we've touched on, there's not a lot to be positive about Hibs at the moment. I'm glad that Ewan and Craig are seeing visions of Hibs getting European football. Liam's probably slightly further ahead than me, and I'm kind of worried again after one result.
You're teetering on the brink, like you are absolutely teetering on the brink, mate. Can I tell you one thing that makes me want to teeter over the brink?
Go for it.
Yeah.
That fucking restart.
Oh,
if I have to watch that fucking restart again, drop it back to O'Hora plays it down the right hand channel, straight out to fucking play. Like,
can someone so many teams say it as well?
Come for that? What
What's
good has
wrong?
ever come for that?
We're just passing it to O'Hora, who then passes it to Potato, who then passes it to Bursick. We let the other team, and we just start playing out the way that we want to play the whole game. Someone does need to explain that to me. I said the same thing at the weekend.
Ground possession.
It's
It's absolute
Possession.
Allardyce ball, like Allardyce ball.
But the worst it is, Harry.
Hibs heard you and saying he wants us to play more of the game in their half. So that's what it is.
The worst it is, O'Hara hardly never got into the fucking their half at the weekend. He fucking sliced it. It went out about 5 yards into the fucking Motherwell half. Oh, that is like, just something else that annoyed me, but kind of made me laugh at the weekend. See, when I was talking about Miller, and he's like, I would like how he confuses me, right? Someone came short for a throw from him in the second half. It was right in front of me, and he never gave them it, right? And he decided to try and throw it, I think, to Kukurevich, who had a player in front of him and a player behind him. And Hibs got a corner out of this because they fucked up the header. So everyone was like, yeah. So I'm like, in what world is that? I'm going to ignore the easy throw right in front of me and I'm going to throw it on a fucking sixpence onto his heat in between two Motherwell players. I was just like, what are we doing here? And like I say, we got a corner out of it, but...
Do you think Lewis Miller is what Lee Johnson was talking about when he talked about football IQ?
Maybe, mate.
He tries too much. He's
Miller. On it. He does some things sometimes. I'm like he in the second half he just beat that Ewan Wilson boy for a standing start. Like he just decided he was just going to go past him.
He's letting the name down, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not the best. Like, it's just he can do some things, and obviously his long throw's an asset. Like there are absolutely things in his game that you could work on and you could make a player of him. But a coach's nightmare. Eh?
I'd love to spend 24 hours in his head, because I reckon he's just like that off the field, like, you know what I mean? There's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's I think he needs to spell at the team though. And see, to be honest, there was times last season where we were talking about me being player of the year and stuff. If he wants a new contract, he probably needs dropped, and I don't know, because his performance, his level just isn't there. You know what I mean? Take some time at the team and work your way back in and try and improve. Sometimes having a spell at the team isn't the worst thing for a professional player, I don't think.
Again, what, for a laugh, let's just swap him and Cadden. Let's play Miller right wing and see how he gets on, eh? Miller and Kuharevich, or Kuharevich, Big Mick up top, that'd be a laugh.
You'd think we've got the perfect manager for them as well, eh? Like, David Gray wasn't, he wasn't massively, he wasn't physically imposing and he wasn't lightning quick or that, but he was just a really effective fullback. He was effective enough going forward, like getting round the winger and, getting good, decent crosses into the box and stuff. And if you were playing Rangers, he would score a goal. Like, but as a, he wasn't like this lightning quick fullback or this like I say, but he was just a really solid and effective Scottish Premiership fullback, and you would think that would just bring on our fullbacks. You know what I mean?
He's more intelligent. That's why he used his attributes so much better than Lewis Miller is currently using his. Lewis Miller should be twice the player that David Gray was with the attributes that he's got. But he's not, because he's too busy trying to fall over and fucking chopping side folk. Like, just if you want to be good in Scotland and get yourself a move, win some headers, score some goals, then be absolutely pish at defending, and you're a good right back.
Sean Rooney.
That chop, a defender can see that 4 calendar months before he's done it. It's genuinely the most easily telegraphed thing in football.
Twice, and then tried to beat him again. I was like, mate, just get the ball in the fucking box.
Oh yeah, in the corner at the main stand.
And folk were clapping like he'd done something. I was like, no, he just made an arse of it by not playing it.
Him doing that chop is like me seeing my Doug eye up another Doug's ball. Like, I know that he's going to go and steal their ball before he's even thought about stealing their ball. And it's like the defender and Lewis Miller with that chop. It's incredible.
You've already got back on the lead before he's even like pulling at you, and Miller, like the other boys, already got the ball.
Defender's got Miller on a lead enough.
That's a shame for him.
Right. So what I'm hearing for this conversation is I like the David Gray part. He was a right back. Miller, Cadden, bring home Megwa. Let's start the 3 of them and let's just have fun. Let's David Grayify the whole team. Screamers for the edge of the box, headers for corners, and I think we're going to be golden.
That's a game, mate. That's a game.
Aye, and on that happy note, because 3 right backs starting at the same time would make me very happy. I was going to say McKirdy inverted right back, but that would just stress me more than anything else. So let's no do that. But we are off this weekend because international break. But probably won't be back on Monday. Are we going to do predictions for Dundee United?
Nah.
We can still do predictions, not just scoreline.
Oh, they now? Oh,
yeah. Oh.
Sorry, I thought you meant are we doing a
no, fuck.
That'd be fucking 2 minutes.
But
how deluded is this going to be?
Our most viewed episode ever.
Hibs Hibs are going to Tannadice to win a game of football. Hibs are going to win that game of football, and they're going to win it comfortably. That's my prediction. 3-0. I think Dundee United are that good. There you go.
Like, are we allowed to predict a loss? Like, I feel like since come on, it's
By the way,
just a
everything I've
rule.
said in group chat says that we're going to get beat.
No matter how
And then
bad we
Derby, they're
are,
going to go above us. But
we have
no,
to predict a win.
I don't think Dundee United are that good. They were stinking the place out in the Championship last year. The majority of that team are still together. I think I kind of got promoted, but it wasn't very good. And I think I fucking clip it. Do what you want. I think Hibs are a better football team than Dundee United, and we'll win the game.
Ewan's going to be on Tangerine TV at the weekend.
Craig, take it away.
I was 2-1 Hibs. 2-1 Hibs. Why not?
2-1 Hibs.
Absolutely no evidence or educated sort of knowledge behind that. It's just pure delusion and blind hope.
We should be signing that Ross Graham for Dundee United, is what I'll say, based on the start to the season. Left side centre back, Harry, you'll be very excited about that.
You're not playing in midfield at the weekend?
I don't know. I don't think so. I thought he was at the back. But unless there was an injury that maybe made him he needed to push up. I don't know. I am going to say 2-1 Hibs. I think it's going to be, remember under Sean Maloney, we went up there on Boxing Day and we beat them 2-1 and no cunt was there, apart from, what was it, like 50 people.
Aye.
I think we're going to see a similar type performance. I think we're going to string it together, going to go up there, get a 2-1 win. It's going to start a very positive run for Hibs.
And according to Harry, we're going to lose 4-0. He doesn't have enough head on.
See that game that you're on about, Liam? We're not absolutely unreal that game. I feel like that
We
was
were
like,
we were
very
really good.
Do you know who was really good? Chris Cadden was fucking
Yeah.
brilliant that game.
That's a game, and this is a really niche one. If anybody remembers what the typo was, I'll be really impressed. But pre-game, there was a typo in Cadden's name, and I can't remember what it was, but it was really funny. And it was niche. So if anybody's watched this and you know what we're talking
Speaking
about.
of Caddens, where's Nicky Cadden?
That's a
Injured.
good point, actually.
Aye, but what's
Has
up with him? Has it been shared? No.
No, just the usual.
PTSD for watching Hibs play football. Aye. I'll say I'll say one each. I'll
You're
say
a
we
liar
get
because
nice-
that means Hibs are getting a point. You said we're going to have 5 points after 10 games.
I didn't say. I said that was very
Could.
theoretically
He
speaking.
said we could.
Aye, and I'm never going to predict a loss, so that'll tell you everything that needs to be known about my prediction for that football match. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for experiencing my tears and Ewan's optimism. And as mentioned, we probably won't be back Monday, but we will be back the week after. Thanks so much for joining us if you join us live, and thanks for watching if you're watching after. And we will catch you next time.